When the time is right, yeah, I spank. When they mess up, sometimes sticking the nose in the corner just don't work.
I don't believe in it. I think the punishment, the timeout, the sitting in the corner and things like that does good. Taking away the Nintendo or the Game Boy or the PS3 or the TV is enough of a punishment for him.
A new study published in this month's journal Pediatrics links spanking to mental illness. While generally the punishment depends on the parent, this research certainly has a lot of people talking. So we wanted to get Dr. Barbara Greenberg's opinion. She is a psychologist who specializes in parenting teens and family. Her opinion was actually cited in the article. Barbara, thanks for joining us once again.
Pleasure.
So where do you fall on the spanking debate?
I am anti-spanking. And I know that many Americans do spank their children, and I do believe that they're trying to be the best possible parents they can be, but there are many arguments against spanking. I think
one of those arguments from people who do spank say that I was spanked as a child, I'm fine, I responsibly spank my child. What do you say? What's your response to that?
Right. Well, first, it's very unclear what okay means. People say that they're okay, they were spanked, but maybe they would have been more okay if they weren't spanked. Secondly, people are very reluctant to second guess their own parents.
Their own choices.
Right.
Well, their parents.
Yes, their parents' choices. And also, they may be okay not because of the spanking, but because of other things that have happened to them. You see, parents are the most important role models for their children. And if parents are role modeling aggression, their children are more likely to be aggressive. So kids who are spanked are more likely to hit other kids and are more likely to be mean. So that's one of my main arguments against spanking. Also, spanking causes fear in kids, and parents want their kids to respect them, hopefully not to fear them. And when you see, if you're in a grocery store and you see a parent spanking a child, you also see that parent talking to their kids in a very negative kind of way. And those kind of scripts stay with kids as they get older. They sort of hear their parents' voice in their mind. And I think that's part of the link between spanking and anxiety and depression and low self-esteem in adulthood.
And you're talking about the voice, and that's not a stern voice that you're arguing. They can't have a stern voice, but more like the degrading voice, degrading words.
That's right, exactly. It's
because
a degrading
you still want to lay down
voice.
the law verbally.
Yes. You want to set limits, you want to set consequences, you want your kids to know what's okay and what's not okay, but you don't want an abusive, degrading voice.
Right. And we just heard from a parent who says he believes taking away privileges, the Nintendo, the Game Boy, that's a more appropriate punishment. Would you agree with that?
I agree completely with that. Taking away privileges, but letting the kid know ahead of time what the privileges are that they're going to lose. Also, a timeout is a very good thing because it separates the child and the adult, and it lets everybody have some cooling down time. The other thing that I really like that I think is very underused is having the child do repair work. So, for example, if they've said something very mean to their younger sister, maybe you'll want to ask them to do something very nice for their younger sister the next day. So that's a way of teaching empathy also.
As you said, repair work. I like that. Now, do you have any advice for parents who are in a situation, many of us have been there, you're in a restaurant, you're in a grocery store, and your child throws a tantrum. What's your advice for keeping your cool?
Yes.
That situation can be very tense sometimes.
It's very tense, and I've seen it, and we've all seen it repeatedly. I think the child is probably overtired and hungry, and my best advice is to get the child out of the situation. It's not a good situation for anybody,
so
the
parent
or the child.
Later. Just, go to the car and take care of the main issue, the hunger or the tired.
Yes, and arrange shopping at a time when the child's less likely to be hungry and tired. We all know that we're not at our best when we're hungry and tired.
No, we are not. All right, thanks, Dr. Greenberg. Always a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Pleasure.